Okay, so what we are going to understand is subnet. Earlier, we have seen about VPC. VPC is nothing but virtual network. When we say virtual network, so suppose it has been assigned IP 172.138.0.0. Then in this network, it will include all the resources which will be having IP starting from this till 172.138.255.255. So 123 dash 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 any resources will be inside this. Now then what is this subnet? Subnet is nothing but it is a partition of these IP, or we can say subset of VPC. So suppose your VPC is like this, and then subnet will be a partition of this, like subnet 1, subnet 2, subnet 3. Let's take the live example. Go to here, type VPC, go to your VPC. In your VPC, if you see the IP is starting from 172.31.0.0/16, so it means 8 plus 8, 16 digit or bit. Then we can see that resource map. This VPC is divided into 6 subnet: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this subnet is having IP but starting from 32, and it is also increased from 16 to 20, so it is limited from this range. So you need to understand CIDR range. That is a different topic, but yeah, it is a part of VPC. So similar to that, we can divide our network. Now coming to the part, different type of subnet. So mainly subnet are two types: private, then public. When we say private, then not accessible. When we say public, it is accessible. When we say not accessible, from where? From most of the things, but mainly we can consider internet user can't reach. But here internet can reach. But why? Because here in this we can attach internet gateway. Through that we can access the subnet. And here in private, it need to be, basically we need to take mechanism like NAT Gateway or other tools. These are different topic: NAT Gateway, Internet Gateway. But these are the main two types. Now coming to another part. This is a simple example of architecting subnet. So if you can see here, this is a VPC. If you are making a highly available architecture, so you can select two region here. First is this region, second is this region. Now inside that region you can take one VPC, then you can divide your application in three subnet. First is front end, second is business logic, then backend. You can keep this in public one, so this can be public, this can be private, this can be private. So this public will be reachable through IGW here. Then it can reach the traffic. Then there will be a mechanism through that you can redirect. So load balancer we can use. Similar to that, here it is also multiple subnet and one VPC for high availability. Then there is a concept of local subnet. So if you see the definition of local subnet, so this does not allow communication to external server, but is to be used solely for communication between virtual server. So we can say this is a virtual server, this is a virtual server, and then these are communicating through the local subnet. Now this is saying that general is public and private based on the presence of public IP address. So let me show you what is this public IP address. Suppose this is my EC2 instance. So as of now nothing is running, but I can start this. Yeah, so if you see here, networking, so there is only private IP address, public IP address is not here. Okay, but once it will be starting, then there will be a public address. So this is the public IP address, it is coming here. So why this is happening? So because this is unique and accessible from the internet, but this is only accessible inside the VPC. So let me show you how. So when we say this, if this is a subnet or resource EC2, if it is having public IP, then it will be reachable from the internet. Traffic can come to through the VPC, through the route table, and then it can reach. But if it does not have public IP, only private IP it have, so then this EC2 can communicate only with this one inside this VPC. This can't communicate with internet for security purpose, and this public IP should be unique. So that is the one point here you need to consider. So that's how we can associate your subnet, basically that these are public and these are private, and simply say this is your VPC. Inside that VPC, if you want this, you can create a public subnet. All the resources inside this will be having public IP. Inside this, if you are creating private subnet, then they will not be having public IP, they will be having private IP. Now if there is a question in your mind, then how they will communicate? So they don't need to communicate with the outside world, they will communicate internally with the resources, whatever resources inside this or this subnet, whatever this, they can communicate here, 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 but not outside. For that, traffic need to be redirected like through here, Suppose I have connected IZW, then through that load balancer, through that it can reach here, then through that we can redirect it. So that's how they can communicate with the outside world. So I hope I have covered all the topic about subnet. And the main difference I told you that if this is like this .0.0, then subnet can be divided like 31.32.0/16, then 172.31.32.028 or 20. So that's how we can divide this subnet, and all the resources will be having IP starting from this range. These resources will be having IP from this range. So this IP allocation will be for this IP allocation will be for this. So that's how this subnet usually work in VPC. And for architecting level we need to discuss in detail, but yeah, that's it. Thank you.